Hi, it's Anne from Unity Physiotherapy and Wellbeing. So a quick video with some points around yoga that feel really important to share. So anybody that's followed my work a while may remember that I've posted a number of times about yoga being more than an on the mat practice. Obviously the on the mat practice is a really important part of yoga practice and it's wider than that. Yoga is a way of living and a way of being, and I wanted to really expand on that today. I mean, I've posted about it before, and I just want to expand on it a little bit because it's something that can seem a difficult concept to understand. It can seem a bit abstract. So I thought it'd be helpful to expand on that in terms of the mat-based practice to help with understanding. So obviously, practicing on the yoga mat is movement, it's physical activity, it may be exercise, depending how it's practiced. There is a difference between physical activity and exercise. All those three things have benefits: movement, physical activity and exercise. Depending how we practice, there can be the different elements of exercise that we need to be incorporating. So there can be balance, flexibility, mobility, strength. There can be spatial awareness of where our body is in space, proprioceptive awareness of our individual joints and limb position, if you like. So all of those aspects are perhaps slightly more obvious, and that's sometimes the reasons people are practicing, and in some ways that's fine and that has benefits, and it's wider than that. So I wanted to touch on some foundational reasons why we practice on the yoga mat that link into it being a way of living and being. So one of the foundational reasons for practicing on the yoga mat is that it connects us to our whole self within our body. So it connects us to whatever's showing up within our body. So it helps us increase our self-awareness and increased embodied awareness, so what is showing up in our body. And it helps us connect to our inner wisdom, which can be referred to in lots of different ways. So it might be true essence, true nature, inner goodness, really helps us connect to the love and compassion that's within us all, helps us nurture it and grow it, and over time embody it, so to have a sense of love and compassion in our body and really live from that place. So what we practice on our yoga mat and we practice in our daily life, that's how we live. And when we're practicing from that place of love and compassion on the yoga mat, it helps us take that into daily life, and then we practice it in daily life as well. And over time, we embody that, and we can serve ourselves and serve others from a place of compassion, love, kindness, and care. So that's really important reasons for practicing, that it connects us to our whole self in our body, increases our self-awareness, and it helps us connect to the love and compassion that's within us, to our inner wisdom, and to live from that place. And we can take that compassion to our yoga mat. So the way in which we approach our yoga mat matters. Whether we approach it with a striving and I want to achieve certain asanas, certain yoga poses and do them in a certain way and have a certain outcome, whether that's our focus, or whether we can let that go and approach our yoga mat with a compassion, a curiosity, a willingness, a heartfelt presence. So a willingness to allow what's present to be, and meeting it from a place of compassion. We may well have an outcome, and can we hold that more lightly? And that's part of yoga practice as well. Society really overstimulates the achieving and the strive, and that can be sometimes how we're approaching our yoga mat. So over time we can begin to see those patterns and change them. So from a perspective of compassion focused therapy, compassionate mind training, which I use a lot in practice and for myself, is we're aiming to approach our yoga mat from a soothing drive rather than a threat-based drive. And the threat-based drive is that striving, achieving, got to achieve these asanas, and that's what I'm focused on, doing these yoga poses a certain way, rather than a soothing-based drive. The practice on the yoga mat, the way in which we practice, is important, and the foundational reason for practicing is that the practice on our yoga mat helps us in daily life. So how we meet what shows up on the yoga mat, how we meet the resistance, the trickiness and the challenges can help us when those things show up in daily life, which they do. We all experience that, and when, say, resistance shows up in daily life, if we can remember how we managed it, how we met it, what was helpful on our yoga mat when resistance shows up, it can help us in daily life. Some people say we practice on the yoga mat for when the rubber hits the road in real life. So I'll give an example. I went onto my yoga mat yesterday with something I needed to spend some time with and understand a little bit more. Something that's showing up for me a little bit more than it was, and I was aware that I needed to take the time to be with it. And a helpful way for me to do that is on my yoga mat. So I set a sankalpa, which is a heartfelt intention that we set at the start of yoga practice. And then I did my practice, which wasn't planned. It often isn't. I tend to go with the flow of what feels right and practice in an intuitive kind of way. And when resistance was showing up, I was noticing that I was noticing it, that I was meeting it with a compassion and a curiosity and a willingness. I was noticing how it showed up in my body, so what thought patterns there were, and how that was showing up in my body, how I was feeling, how that was showing up in my body. And I do my best to meet resistance in daily life with compassion and curiosity and willingness as well. And that's not always easy. And it's not always easy on the yoga mat. And that's why we practice. And through my practice, I deepened understanding of what's showing up for me at the moment. And I had insights into what's helpful. And even this morning, something dropped into my consciousness. So another insight. We don't always get lots of insights. Sometimes we just get a little bit more awareness, and sometimes we get, I understand that, and this would be helpful. So that's why we practice, is we can see how we meet certain things, and then we can take that into daily life. The yoga mat practice and the daily life, that is the practice together. So those foundational reasons for practice is increased self-awareness, heartfelt presence, so presence with compassion and curiosity, openness, a loving presence, if you like, an embodiment of love and compassion, to live from that place, and to build awareness of how we manage things on the yoga mat and take that into daily life. So I'm hoping that makes some sense and is helpful. And I'd just like to add on the end that yoga is accessible to anybody that wants it to be. There isn't a certain way that has to be practiced. And somebody that attended my 8-week workshop series this year fed back that they had tried to practice yoga for many, many years and had lots of problems in doing so and just weren't able, and now they are. They have a different perspective of it, and so that's opened up yoga to them, and they found it really helpful. So it can be adapted in so many ways, and there are many misconceptions, and I think it's important for people to know that. So I would love to hear if this video has been helpful. I would also love to hear how yoga is helpful for you as well, as that's always nice to hear how people are using their practices. All right, take care.